There is something happening right now that you probably cannot see. Your body is broadcasting not just heat, not just sound, something far more precise, an electromagnetic signature that extends beyond your skin and out into the space around you, sending information into the fabric of reality every single second of your life. You are not waiting for the universe to notice you. It noticed you the moment you were born. It has been responding to your signal every day since then. Not sometimes. Always. Without exception. Without pause. The only question that has ever mattered is, what has your signal actually been saying? You were meant to find the source 369. Close your eyes. You may drift to sleep. Your subconscious will listen for you. This is not just a meditation. This is a special kind of energy. Once you hear it, once you allow your mind to relax and let go, miraculous things will begin to find you. You don't need to try. You don't need to understand or analyze. You simply need to allow wealth, love, health, and success to enter your life in the most natural way possible. Let this meditation do its work. Let your sleep become the gateway for the best things life has to offer. Because here is the thing most of us have never been taught. The universe does not read your words. It doesn't read your vision board, or your journal, or the affirmation you typed into a note on your phone. It reads your frequency, the vibrational quality of your being, not in your best moments, not in your focused minutes of intention, but in the ordinary, unremarkable hours of your actual day. And most of us, without realizing it, have been broadcasting something very different from what we consciously want. There is a pattern that changes this. Not a shortcut, and not a trick. A genuine vibrational protocol that mirrors the way reality itself is structured. It is encoded in 3 numbers, 3, 6, and 9. You may have heard of this before, maybe as a Tesla obsession or a social media manifestation trend. But what you may not have heard is the actual reason it works, not the superstition, not the numerology, the real reason. The physics of it, the neuroscience of it, the way it works with the natural rhythms of your consciousness to gradually, powerfully, permanently change what your field is broadcasting. That is what we are exploring today. Not a formula to repeat mechanically. A way of becoming someone whose signal is clear enough, coherent enough, consistent enough that the universe has no other option than to reflect that clarity back as your life. By the end of this, the numbers 3, 6, and 9 will mean something entirely different to you. Not digits, doorways, 1 for creation, 1 for activation, 1 for completion, and together a cycle that, when practiced with presence, begins to do something remarkable. It stops being a technique you apply and starts being a frequency you live from. Let's begin. Nikola Tesla was many things. Inventor, visionary, one of the most original scientific minds of the modern era. But people who knew him described something unusual beyond his genius. He had a relationship with numbers that felt less like mathematics and more like devotion. He would walk around a block 3 times before entering a building. He chose hotel rooms that were divisible by 3. He performed tasks in sets of 3, and among all numbers, 3 particular ones seemed to hold a special place in his attention: 3, 6, and 9. He reportedly said, "If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, the 6, and the 9, then you would have a key to the universe." Most people hear that and file it away as an eccentric quirk. But what if it was something else? What if Tesla, who spent his life studying electromagnetic fields and the nature of energy, was pointing at something real? Something embedded not in mystical tradition but in the actual structure of how the universe moves? Because these numbers do appear persistently and unmistakably throughout nature. The geometry of a vortex of water traces a pattern in which the angular momentum consistently returns to 3, 6, and 9 without touching other digits. The vibration of certain natural frequencies follows the same pattern. Sacred geometric forms the flower of life. The torus, the Fibonacci spiral carry the same numerical signature embedded in their ratios and divisions. Tesla wasn't inventing a mystical belief. He was observing a structural reality. He was noticing that the universe seemed to breathe in a particular rhythm. And those 3 numbers, 3, 6, 9, were like the exhale of that rhythm, showing up wherever order emerged from chaos. What does this have to do with manifestation? Everything. Because manifestation is not a random process. It is a resonance process. And resonance works when something within you aligns with a pattern that already exists in the field. Not by force, not by repetition alone, but by genuine vibrational synchronization, you matching the frequency of the reality you want to inhabit. The 369 method is not about the numbers as symbols. It is about what those numbers represent in the cycle of creation. 3 phases, 3 moments in the day, 3 qualities of consciousness, each one corresponding to a different aspect of the quantum process through which intention becomes reality. And that is where we need to slow down. Because most people who try this method use it as a writing exercise. 3 sentences in the morning, 6 at noon, 9 at night, and they wonder why nothing changes. The issue is not the method. The issue is that they are approaching it as a ritual of the mind rather than a practice of the whole self. And the universe doesn't respond to what your mind writes down. It responds to what your entire being, mind, heart, body, electromagnetic field is actually broadcasting when you do it. Let's decode the 3 frequencies. 3 is the number of beginning, creation, the moment before anything takes shape. Think of 3 as the seed, not yet a plant, not yet anything visible, but containing within it the full blueprint of what it will become. 3 represents the point of origin. The spark, the intention at its most pure and unformed state. In the context of the 369 method, 3 is the morning frequency. And morning is not arbitrary. The period right after waking is one of the most neurologically significant windows of your entire day. As you surface from sleep, if your brain transitions through the same slow brainwave states, it passes through every night delta, theta, alpha before settling into the faster beta waves of waking consciousness. Theta is the key. In theta state, that soft, slightly dreamy quality of the first minutes of waking, the doorway between your conscious and subconscious mind is open in a way it rarely is during the rest of the day. The critical faculty of the analytical mind, the part that argues and questions and doubts, is still quiet. What passes through that open door goes deep. It doesn't just register as an idea. It lands in the subconscious as possibility, as identity. This is the window the morning 3 is designed for. When you use this window well, when you bring your desire into focus in that liminal, open state with genuine feeling, you are not making a wish. You are planting a seed directly into the most receptive soil in your consciousness. You are telling your nervous system, this is what is true about who I am now. But the feeling is everything. 3 repetitions with genuine emotion, with the actual bodily sensation of what it feels like to be the person who already lives that reality. Plant something real. 3 repetitions done quickly and mechanically, while your mind is already running through your to-do list. Plant almost nothing. The morning 3 is a practice of arrival. Before you arrive in your day, you arrive in yourself. Take a breath. Slow your pace. Let your body still be soft from sleep for another few minutes. And from that quiet place, bring to mind the version of you you are becoming. Not reaching for them, not hoping, just being with them, feeling how they feel, carrying that feeling in your body as you speak or write your intention 3 times. That is the creation pulse. That is 3. Here is something specific to notice in the morning window. When you first wake, before the analytical mind comes fully online, you have access to something that is otherwise difficult to reach, a quality of openness that most people immediately fill with their phone or their planning thoughts. In that openness, the distance between the version of you who is practicing and the version of you who already lives the life you desire feels smaller. Not because it is closer in physical terms, but because the critical voice that normally measures that distance and reports back on how far you still have to go is still quiet. This is the gift of theta, and it is available to you every single morning, for free, without any special equipment or expertise. All it requires is that you decide the night before. So the decision is already made that your first act upon waking will not be to connect to the outside world. It will be to reconnect to yourself, to the version of yourself you are becoming, to the feeling of that person's life. 3 minutes, 3 repetitions, 3 moments of genuine contact with the new identity before the day begins its campaign to remind you of the old one. Over time, This morning window becomes one of the most valuable parts of your day. Not because it's long, because of the depth of access it provides when you use it with intention. 6 is the number of activation, the bridge, the reinforcement of the thread that the morning planted. By midday, by the time 6 arrives, something has happened. You have moved through hours of ordinary life, meetings, messages, traffic, conversations, small frustrations, distractions. The world has been busy pulling your attention back to the familiar, back to the old patterns, back to the signal your nervous system has been running for years before you started this practice. And the midday 6 is the pivot point. It is a conscious choice to return, not because the morning didn't work, not because you failed, but because the nature of the mind is to drift. It returns to its default patterns the way water returns to low ground naturally, without effort, without intention. The midday 6 is the moment you interrupt that drift. Think of it as a compass recalibration. A ship leaves port pointed in the right direction, but currents shift. Wind changes. Over 6 hours, even a small degree of drift can take a vessel meaningfully off course. The midday 6 is your opportunity to look at where you've drifted to and gently, without drama, repoint toward where you're going. Neurologically, this moment matters more than people realize. Repetition spaced across time, not all at once, but in distinct windows separated by hours of ordinary life, creates stronger and more durable neural pathways than repetition clustered together. The brain encodes information differently when it is retrieved and reinforced in a different context from where it was first learned. The midday 6, in a different environment than the morning 3, in a different emotional state, strengthens the new pattern in a distinctly different way than repeating it all at once would. 6 repetitions at midday is not just a second round of affirmations. It is a neurological reinforcement that the morning cannot do alone. It is the bridge, the structure that keeps the morning intention connected to the night. For the midday 6, you don't need silence. You don't need a ritual space. You need a moment, a pause, a full breath, and then, with whatever presence you can access in the middle of an ordinary day, you return to your frequency. You speak your intentions 6 times, not rushing through them, but letting each one land before moving to the next. 6 moments of return. 6 repetitions of reminding your field who you have decided to be. There is one more layer to the midday 6 worth understanding. By the middle of the day, your cortisol levels, the hormone associated with alertness and mild stress, are at or near their peak. You are in the most activated, outward-focused state of your day, which is exactly the wrong state for the kind of deep inner access that the morning and evening windows allow. But it is the perfect state for one specific thing: choice. The midday 6 is not about depth of access. It is about choosing your direction when the world is actively trying to redirect you. It is about maintaining the signal when external demands are loudest. It is about proving to yourself and to your nervous system that the frequency you chose this morning is not just a morning thought. It is a way of moving through the world. 6 is harder than 3 or 9, precisely because it happens in the midst of life rather than at the edges of it. And because it is harder, it does something the other two cannot. It demonstrates commitment. It trains the capacity to return to yourself not only in quiet moments, but in the ordinary rush of an actual day. If the morning 3 is planting and the evening 9 is sealing, the midday 6 is tending. It is the care that happens between planting and harvest, not dramatic, not visible to anyone watching from outside, but without which the whole cycle is incomplete. That is 6. That is activation. 9 is the number of completion, the seal, the deep imprinting that happens when the conscious mind releases and the subconscious takes over. Night is the most powerful broadcasting window of your day, and most people give it away without realizing it. As you move toward sleep, your brain slows again, beta dropping to alpha, alpha easing into theta, theta deepening toward delta. This is the same territory as the morning, but with a significant difference. In the morning, if you are emerging from sleep, the direction is toward waking. At night, you are descending into it. The direction is toward the deepest levels of your subconscious. What you carry into that descent goes with you. What you feel as you enter sleep, the emotional tone of your last conscious moments, is what your subconscious processes, reinforces, and encodes during the hours you are not watching. Sleep is not simply rest. It is when identity is organized, when patterns are consolidated, when the experiences and emotional inputs of the day are filed into long-term memory and encoded into who you are becoming. Most people end their day reviewing what went wrong, replaying conversations, worrying about tomorrow, running the anxious calculations of lack and uncertainty. And that is what they carry into their subconscious with them. That is what gets encoded during the hours of sleep, not the vision board on the wall, but the emotional state at the moment consciousness faded. The 9 is a deliberate intervention in that process. 9 repetitions of your intention spoken slowly, felt fully, with the genuine emotion of gratitude and arrival is how you choose what you carry into sleep. You are not just saying the words. You are choosing to feel the feeling of your desired reality in the moments just before your subconscious takes over. You are delivering that signal directly to the level of mind that is most powerful and least defended. This is the completion. The seal, the moment the day's planting is handed over to the part of you that never sleeps. Let's be specific about what the practice actually looks like, felt from the inside. Imagine waking tomorrow morning. Before reaching for your phone, before the day begins its pull, you lie still for a few extra moments and let your body stay soft. You bring to mind one clear intention, not a list, not many desires. 1, the thing that matters most right now, the version of yourself you are becoming, and you feel it, not just think it. You let the feeling land in your chest, the ease of it, the warmth of it, the quiet confidence of someone for whom this reality is simply true. Then, With that feeling alive in your body, you repeat your intention 3 times. Slowly, meaning every word, not performing arriving. Say it the way you would say something you already know is true, the way you'd say your own name. After the 3rd repetition, pause. Don't rush to the next thought. Stay with the feeling for a breath or 2. Let it settle into the body. This is the creation pulse. The morning broadcast. Then live your day. And in the middle of it, ideally around noon, but whenever the natural midpoint of your active hours falls, you pause again. It doesn't take long. A minute. A single full breath to come back to yourself. And you repeat your intention 6 times with whatever presence you have available right now. Not perfectly. Presently, notice that the quality of your feeling at midday may be different from the morning. That's fine. Don't manufacture a feeling you don't have. Meet yourself where you actually are. And from there, gently redirect, gently return 6 times, like touching a compass needle back to north. And at night, when the day is done and the world has gone quiet after you've taken care of whatever needs taken care of, and before you let yourself drift toward sleep, you return one last time. 9 repetitions. Slow. Full. Let each one be a breath. Let each one be a releasing of everything that was heavy in the day. Let each one be the last true thing you tell yourself before consciousness fades. This is the seal. This is the deep water your seed sinks into overnight. Do this for 7 days. Not perfectly. Presently. Now let's talk about why this actually works, because understanding the mechanism makes it more real, not less. Your brain is not fixed. This was one of the great scientific discoveries of recent decades, and it changes everything about how we approach personal transformation. The brain is plastic. It physically changes in response to repeated experience, repeated thought, and especially repeated thought paired with genuine emotion. New neural pathways form. Old ones weaken from disuse. The brain literally rewires itself around the patterns of thought and feeling that are most consistently reinforced. This is not metaphor. This is measurable structural change in the physical organ of your mind. What does this mean for the 369 practice? Every time you repeat your intention, especially in those open theta windows of morning and evening, and especially when the repetition is paired with real feeling, you are laying down a new track in your neural architecture, a new path for your thoughts to run along, a new default pattern for your identity. The first time, it is thin and unfamiliar. The mind resists it slightly. It doesn't feel quite real. That's normal. That's the old pattern defending its territory. But the second time, the path is a little more worn. The third time, easier still. Across 7 days of 3 times a day repetition, each time with genuine presence, in different brainwave states, the new pattern starts to feel less like something you're trying to become and more like something you already are. And something shifts when that happens. The effort of it softens. The doubt quiets. Not because you forced it quiet, but because the new neural pathway has become more familiar than the old one. This is how lasting identity change actually works. Not through willpower, through consistent, emotionally engaged repetition at the right moments of the day. Beyond the brain, your heart is also involved in ways that science has only recently begun to measure. The heart generates an electromagnetic field significantly more powerful than the one produced by the brain. This field extends several feet beyond the body and is actively broadcasting information into the quantum field every second. Researchers have found that when the heart and brain come into alignment, when what you're feeling and what you're thinking are telling the same story, the combined electromagnetic signal becomes coherent and amplified. Coherence is the key word here. In physics, coherent waves don't just add up, they amplify. Two coherent waves produce a signal stronger than the sum of its parts. Two incoherent waves out of sync, telling different stories, cancel each other out. When you repeat your intention with genuine feeling, you are inviting your heart into the conversation. You are creating the conditions for heart-brain coherence. And coherent signals are what the quantum field responds to most powerfully. This is why feeling matters more than words. Words without feeling are incoherent. The mind is saying one thing while the heart is broadcasting something else entirely. But when the two align, even for the few minutes of your morning 3, your midday 6, in your evening 9, the signal that goes out is a different quality than anything mechanical repetition alone could produce. Let's stay with the heart field for a moment, because this is where the science becomes genuinely remarkable. HeartMath Institute, which has spent decades measuring the electromagnetic field of the heart, found that this field can be detected by sensitive instruments up to several feet away from the body. And the information encoded in that field changes significantly depending on what you are feeling. Not what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Emotions like fear, frustration, and anxiety produce irregular, chaotic patterns in the heart's electromagnetic output. Emotions like appreciation, genuine care, and the feeling of love or gratitude produce a smooth, ordered, coherent pattern. Scientists call this the difference between heart coherence and heart incoherence. The practical implication is this: when you move through your day in a state of low-level anxiety, which for most people is simply the background radiation of modern life, your heart field is broadcasting that chaos into everything around you, into your relationships, into your decisions, into the quantum fabric of reality. But during the minutes of your 369 practice, especially when you allow yourself to genuinely feel the warmth, the gratitude, the ease of the life you're stepping into, your heart field shifts into coherence. It becomes an ordered, amplified signal, and that signal speaks directly to the field that organizes your reality. 3 times a day, you are choosing coherence. 3 times a day, you are sending a clear, ordered, warm signal from the most powerful broadcasting organ in your body. That compounds over time in ways that are difficult to overstate. There is one more layer to understand, and it may be the most important of all. quantum physics has shown us something extraordinary about the relationship between the observer and what is observed. At the quantum level, reality exists as waves of probability, multiple possible outcomes existing simultaneously until the moment of observation. When those probabilities collapse into one definite reality, the observer's act of observation is what collapses the wave. You are an observer. Every moment of every day, you are observing your life, and in observing it, you are participating in collapsing it into a specific version of reality. The question is, what are you observing? What are you using as your reference point? If you observe your life from the perspective of someone who is lacking, waiting, hoping, and uncertain, that is the frequency from which you collapse reality. You make probable more of what matches that frequency. But if you observe from the frequency of the version of you who already lives the reality you desire, if you make that identity your consistent reference point, you begin to collapse reality from a different place. A higher frequency, a more coherent signal. The 369 practice is a training in exactly this. 3 times a day, you are practicing the act of observing from the frequency of your desired self. You are rehearsing the identity. You are making it more and more familiar to your nervous system until the day it stops being something you consciously practice and becomes simply who you are. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And the 369 is the practice of becoming. There's a practical question worth answering here. What do you do when the feeling won't come? Because there will be mornings when you sit down for your 3 repetitions and the feeling is simply not accessible. Your mind is running. The list of things to do is loud. The body is tired or stressed or wired on caffeine before the practice even starts. In these moments, don't try to force a feeling you don't have. Forcing creates a different kind of incoherence, the performance of positivity layered on top of genuine distress. The field reads the layer underneath, not the one you're performing. Instead, start smaller. Don't try to feel the full reality of your desired life. Instead, reach for the nearest available quality of the feeling. If you can't feel abundance, can you feel calm? If calm feels out of reach, can you feel curiosity? If curiosity feels too distant, can you feel the simple fact that you are here, breathing, choosing to begin again? Start there. Anchor in what is genuinely accessible. And then, gently, from that small, real place, see if the fuller feeling will come to meet you. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. On the days it doesn't, 3 genuine repetitions from a place of calm rather than 3 performed repetitions from a place of forced emotion are more powerful than you might think. The field responds to authenticity. It responds to real signals, even quiet ones. A whisper of genuine coherence reaches further than a shout of manufactured feeling. Here is what most people miss about practices like this, and it is the gap between those who see results and those who don't. It is not the repetition that matters most. It is who you are being in the spaces between the repetitions. because the signal you broadcast is not only the 3 minutes of morning intention, it is the 23 hours and 57 minutes that follow. It is the quality of your attention when you're making coffee, the emotional tone of your inner voice when something inconvenient happens, the story you tell yourself when the day doesn't go as planned. The 369 is not a 6-minute-a-day practice that somehow overrides everything else. It is a training that, done with presence and consistency, begins to raise the baseline of who you are being all the time. The morning 3 sets the tone. The midday 6 reminds you of it. The evening 9 seals the day in it. And over time, across weeks of this practice, the tone doesn't reset when you close your journal. It lingers. It begins to color the ordinary moments without your having to try. This is when the practice has worked, not when results appear. When the effort of returning to the frequency stops feeling like effort. When the new way of being starts feeling more like you than the old one did. There is a story that illustrates this beautifully. Imagine someone learning to play the piano. In the first weeks, every note requires conscious attention. The hands move slowly. The mind is actively tracking each instruction. It feels effortful, mechanical, and sometimes discouraging. But they don't stop. They practice daily. And slowly, so slowly that they barely notice when it happens, the music begins to come from somewhere other than the thinking mind. The hands know where to go. The song flows. What was once labored becomes natural. Not because they tried harder, because they showed up consistently long enough for the new pattern to become the body's default. The 369 practice works the same way. At first, it requires deliberate attention and conscious effort. The feeling may not always be there. The words may feel hollow some mornings. That is expected. That is the beginning. But presence and consistency do something that effort alone cannot. They build a new baseline. They create a new normal. And one day, usually quietly, usually without fanfare, you realize that the frequency you've been practicing has become your resting state. Not a technique you apply, a vibration you inhabit. That is the shift from doing the 369 to being it. Let's be specific about what the journey looks like, day by day, so you know what to expect. In the first few days of this practice, the words may feel hollow. The feeling may not fully arrive. You may sit with your eyes closed, trying to feel like the person you want to become, and instead just feel like you, which is to say, exactly like yourself as you currently are, with all the doubt and distance that comes with that. This is normal. This is the first layer, the one everyone starts at. The path isn't worn yet. The neural circuits aren't strong. The subconscious hasn't yet accepted this new pattern as a serious candidate for identity. But you continue. Around day 3 or 4, something small usually shifts. It may not be dramatic. The morning repetition might feel slightly less effortful. You might catch yourself mid-afternoon, already Reaching back toward the frequency before the midday practice begins a sign that the pattern is starting to become familiar. You might notice that you make one small choice differently than you would have a week ago. A tiny, almost imperceptible steering. By the end of the first week, if you've practiced with reasonable consistency, the feeling starts to arrive more readily. Not every time, but more times than before, and the feeling, when it arrives, carries more weight because your nervous system is beginning to associate this state with something real, something repeated, something yours. In the second week, the shifts become subtler but deeper. You might notice that the old pattern, the background worry, the quiet doubt, the low hum of lack requires slightly more effort to sustain than it used to. As if the new neural track has gotten wide enough to compete with it. This is the reorganization happening beneath the surface. Not yet visible in your external life, but real at the level of your system. And the external shift, when it comes, will simply be the reflection of what has already changed inside. And here is what changes when that happens. You stop checking for signs. You stop measuring the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You stop asking whether it's working. Not because you've given up, but because the question no longer feels urgent. There's a quiet knowing in you that something is already in motion. Not because you can prove it, because your field has changed. And you can feel that it has. This is the state from which manifestation happens most naturally. Not from wanting, not from hoping, not from desperate visualization, but from the quiet certainty of someone whose signal is coherent, consistent, and clear. Let's do something together now. Not just understand, experience. Find a comfortable position wherever you are. Let your hands rest open. Let your shoulders drop. Take 3 slow breaths before we continue, each one deeper than the last. Inhale and release. Again, slower. One more time. And let your whole body soften on the exhale. Good. Now, bring your attention gently inward. Not looking for anything, just arriving in yourself, in the quiet space behind the thoughts and the doing. In this space, allow a version of yourself to come into awareness. Not a version that's trying or hoping or waiting, a version that is already living the reality you desire. Not dramatically, quietly, warmly, simply present in the life that was always meant for them. See where they are. Notice the quality of light around them. Notice how they hold themselves. There is no strain in their body, no searching in their eyes. They are at home in their own life, at ease in themselves. And now, most importantly, feel what they feel. Let the feeling move from your imagination into your chest. The warmth of it, the settledness, the quiet satisfaction of a life that matches your deepest nature. From that feeling, not performing it, inhabiting it, say these words 3 times. Slowly, with meaning. I am now aligned with the version of me that already lives my desired reality. Say it again. I am now aligned with the version of me that already lives my desired reality. Once more. I am now aligned with the version of me that already lives my desired reality. Pause. Stay with what you feel. Don't rush to the next thought. This is the morning frequency. This is 3. Creation. The first pulse. Now imagine it's the middle of your day. Hours have passed. Life has moved through you. And in this moment, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you pause. You take one breath, you remember, and you return. I am now aligned with the version of me that already lives my desired reality. 6 times. Each repetition is a choice, a refusal to drift fully back into the old pattern, a gentle, powerful return to who you've decided to be. This is 6. Activation. The bridge. And now it's night. The world has gone quiet. You are lying down. Your body is ready to rest. And instead of carrying the day's worries into sleep, instead of replaying what went wrong or worrying about what's coming, you choose this. 9 times. Soft, full, like letting go. I am now aligned with the version of me that already lives my desired reality. 9 times. Until the words become breath, and the breath becomes feeling, and the feeling carries you toward sleep. This is 9. Completion. The seal. Now come gently back to full awareness. Take a breath. Feel the solidity of the ground beneath you. And carry something of that feeling with you, not as an idea, but as a quality of presence into the next moment of your day. You have just experienced the 369 field, not read about it, entered it. There is something worth naming directly, because it is the place where most people quietly give up without realizing they've given up. Consistency, in the context of this practice, does not mean perfection. It does not mean that every single repetition must be charged with peak emotion. It does not mean that missing one evening destroys the work of the previous 5 days. It does not mean that the practice only counts when it's done exactly right, in complete silence, with the exact phrase, at the exact time. That kind of perfectionism is not devotion. It is a way of maintaining distance, of keeping the practice at arm's length, so that if it doesn't work, you can point to all the ways you weren't doing it right rather than really letting it land. Consistency means you return, not flawlessly faithfully. You return in the morning even when you're running late and can only manage one slow breath and one genuine repetition before the day begins. You return at midday even when the pause is 20 seconds in a parking lot with your eyes closed. You return at night even when you're exhausted and the words are soft and the feeling is thin. Because it is the returning that builds the muscle, not the peak performance. The ordinary, imperfect, real act of coming back to this thing you've decided matters again and again and again is what changes the nervous system, is what rewires the identity. is what eventually produces coherence, not as an effort but as a nature. Think of it like physical training. No serious practitioner expects every session to be their best. Some days the body is strong and the movement is fluid and the whole thing feels like flow. Other days it's labored and slow and more about showing up than breaking records. But the transformation happens across all of it, the peak sessions and the grinding ones and everything in between, because the body adapts to the cumulative demand, not just the best moments. Your field adapts the same way. The 369 practice is asking for your cumulative presence, your average quality of attention, not your performance at your peak. And here is something worth knowing about the days when it feels like it isn't working. When the morning 3 feels mechanical. When the midday 6 is forgotten until 10 minutes before evening. When the night 9 is half asleep and barely audible. Those days are doing something too. Not nothing. Not undoing the good days. Something quieter, but real. They are proving to your subconscious that this practice is not conditional, that it is not something you do only when you feel inspired or when circumstances are favorable. They are demonstrating a kind of trust that is more powerful than enthusiasm, the trust of someone who shows up even when the feeling isn't there, who continues even without evidence, who chooses the new pattern even when the old one is louder. The subconscious takes note of this. The field takes note. And over time, that showing up anyway quality becomes one of the most important things the practice builds. Not just coherence, reliability, the inner knowledge that you are someone who keeps their commitments to themselves, and that, more than any single peak experience, is the foundation of a new identity. Here is the final truth worth sitting with. You are not trying to manifest something into your life. You are trying to remember who you were before life convinced you to forget. There is a phrase worth sitting with as we close. The universe doesn't need you to be ready. It needs you to be consistent. Not ready in the sense of having everything figured out. Not ready in the sense of believing 100% of the time, with no doubt, no wavering, no quiet whisper of what if it doesn't work. Consistency doesn't require certainty. It just requires returning. You are not looking for the day when you finally feel completely aligned and completely sure and completely certain that everything is going to work. That day may not arrive on schedule. And if you're waiting for it before you begin, you may wait a very long time. What is available right now this morning, this afternoon, this night is 3 repetitions, 6 repetitions, 9 repetitions, a few minutes in each window, with as much genuine presence as you have available. And the next day, you do it again. And the day after that, this is how the frequency changes. Not in one dramatic moment, in the accumulated weight of ordinary days, each one slightly more familiar than the last, until the signal that used to require effort arrives naturally, until the new identity stops feeling like a practice and starts feeling like yourself. You are not learning how to manifest. You are learning how to remember. The frequency of your desired life is not far away. It is entangled with you right now because the version of you who lives that life is a version that emerged from you, carries your soul's frequency, and has always existed as potential in your field. The 369 brings you back into resonance with what was always there. Morning, midday, night, 3, 6, 9, come home. Because somewhere beneath the conditioning, beneath the doubt and the old stories and the inherited beliefs about what's possible for someone like you, there is a version of you that already knows, that already carries the frequency of the life you've been reaching toward, that never fully believed the smaller story, even when it played along with it. The 369 practice doesn't create something new. It reveals what was always there. 3 times a day, you return to that knowing. You remind your nervous system. You remind your field. You remind every cell that has been running an old program that there is a newer, truer version available. And that version is not waiting to arrive after the external evidence shows up. It is available right now, in this breath, in this choice, in this repetition. Not someday. No, reality is not something that happens to you. It is something that mirrors you. And the mirror is always listening, always responsive, always faithful to the frequency it receives. So bring it the clearest signal you can morning, midday, and night, and watch what it reflects back. Not as proof that you've succeeded, as evidence of who you've become,